Welcome to the Interacting with Junos OS module. By the end of this module, you should be able to describe the Junos OS management methods and operating modes. The Junos CLI is a text-based command shell used to configure and monitor devices running Junos OS. One option for accessing the CLI on a device is through the out-of-band serial console connection. The console port settings are predefined and are not user configurable. On virtualized Junos devices, such as the VSRX and VMX, the out-of-band console is provided by the Hypervisor Virtual Console. A second option for accessing the CLI is over the network, in-band, using access protocols, such as Telnet or SSH. Unlike the console connection, these access options require configuration of the network port and the access protocol. Many Juniper device platforms running Junos OS also offer a dedicated management Ethernet port. This management port provides out-of-band access. This out-of-band port is unique in that it can be used to configure the device, but cannot forward transit traffic. The actual name of the dedicated management Ethernet port varies between platforms. For details on your specific platform, refer to the Juniper Networks Tech Library website. You can access this website from the reference links document. The JWeb is a web-based GUI that you can access by using either HTTP or HTTPS. It provides quick configuration wizards to simplify the most common configuration tasks. For more complicated configurations, the JWeb GUI enables you to directly edit the system's configuration as a text file. The JWeb GUI is installed and enabled by default on most platforms running Junos OS. In addition to user interfaces, Junos OS provides 3 automation interfaces, or APIs, used to remotely configure Juniper devices. The first API implemented on devices running Junos OS, and most frequently used, is the Junos XML API. The Junos XML API determines Junos XML remote procedure calls, or RPCs, issued by a remote system. Junos XML RPCs can be used to monitor and configure devices running Junos OS. Every Junos OS CLI command has an equivalent RPC. Junos OS XML RPCs are sent to a device running Junos OS over a network configuration protocol, or netconf connection. Netconf is a transport protocol that uses SSH to transport RPCs to network devices. Netconf is a protocol originally developed by Juniper and later adopted and ratified by the IETF and RFCs 4741 and 6241. The Representational State Transfer, or REST API, can be configured on Junos OS devices using commands available under the Edit System Services REST hierarchy level. Once configured, the REST API becomes available as the REST service, a REST-based interface that enables you to submit RPC commands to the device from a remote location and supports GET and POST requests. With the REST API, you can use GET requests to submit RPC commands, use POST requests to submit information through RPC commands, retrieve configuration information in XML, ASCII, plaintext, or JavaScript object notation, JSON, and retrieve operational data in XML, ASCII, or JSON. The REST API was created for customers who manage their whole data center using REST. On the back end, all REST RPCs are converted to Junos XML RPCs. The Juniper Extension Toolkit, or JET, is a framework that enables developers to create applications that extend the functionality of Junos OS. It focuses on providing a standards-based interface to the Juniper Networks Junos OS for customizing management and control plane functionality. The JET also includes a virtual machine, or VM, packaged as a vagrant file, libraries, and other tools to enable developers to write on-device JET applications. The JET applications can run on devices running Junos OS on-box or on another remote device off-box in your operating environment, and connect over the network to a device running Junos OS and interact with Junos OS through request response and notification services over standards-based transport channels. The JET API was developed as a modern API for the cloud era, where remote management devices may need to make configuration changes thousands of times per minute. Junos OS requires a username and password for access. The administrator creates user accounts and assigns permissions. All platforms running Junos OS have only the root user configured by default. All non-root users are placed into the CLI automatically. When configured, the console login displays the hostname of the device. When you have not configured a hostname, as is the case with a factory default configuration, the software displays Amnesiac in place of the host name. The root user has complete access and control of the device. When you log in as the root user, the software places you at the Unix or Linux shell. You must start the Junos OS CLI by typing the CLI command. When you exit the CLI, you return to the Unix or Linux shell. For security reasons, ensure that you also log out of the shell by using the exit command. Note that in VSRX, the root login prompt from the shell shows hash instead of %. In the operational mode, you use the CLI to monitor and troubleshoot the device. The monitor, ping, show, test, and trace route commands enable you to display information and test network connectivity for the device. In the configuration mode, you can configure Junos OS, including interfaces, protocols, and user access, as well as several system hardware properties.